Good evening, and tonight I'm going to do my day 2 of stopping domestic violence, and I'm going to admit that I'm nervous. I get like anxiety, a pit in my stomach. It's nerve-wracking saying your story and letting everybody hear it, know about it, what you struggled through, and it's scary, but I'm going to do it. This is what I've decided to do. I've decided to do that way when I started We Are Women's Fitness, but everything happens in stages and you can't get everything all at once. You got to work for it, right? So this is my baby steps into my journey, and it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be professional. It's just going to be real. It's going to be me. So I don't even know where to start. So I'm just going to start. So I'm going to go over my last 2 abusive relationships. We're going to call ex-husband B and ex-fiance. So we know the 2, ex-fiance and ex-husband B. We're going to talk about ex-husband B. The situations were extremely different. Still very harmful to my mind, to my body, to everything. Not healthy at all, but both different. Ex-husband B was physically abusive. He was also very verbally abusive. So physically and verbally abusive. So it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. It was affecting my children. It was affecting me. I ended up with Crohn's disease. It was just horrible. 8 years of it, people. 8 years I stuck in it. And I look back and I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? What was I thinking? I was a very strong person, had a fantastic job. I had everything going for myself, had 2 vehicles, a house, all kinds of stuff. And he slowly took every single thing from me. Everything. My health, my strength, me being a mom, the mom that I want to be. He took everything from me. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible, but I got it back. But I did get out. It took a lot of hard work. And what I'm going to tell you next is horrible. It's not something that was fun to experience. It was actually very sad and very traumatizing. But it was my eye awakening, my aha, my whatever. And it was the day of my grandmother's funeral. Now, let's get some information. It was the day of my grandmother's funeral. The best woman that ever lived. I love her to death. My number 1 cheerleader. No matter what, she was always there for me. Since a young child all the way up. Love her to death. My everything. With my grandmother, she was sick when I was sick. She was in the hospital when I was in the hospital. I've been on prednisone for months at this time too. And if anybody knows what prednisone does to you, it messes with your emotions like crazy. And we had gotten in a fight and I started crying. And with this type of abuser, the more you cry and the sadder you are, the more angry they get. The more angry he got. Then all of a sudden, I'm flying out of my bed into the air and onto the floor. The morning of my grandmother's funeral. Pretty nice, right? Not really. As I was flying through the air onto the floor, I was thinking, I don't know if I got strength from my grandmother. I don't know, like she's looking down and be like, Tina, no way. Don't let this man do this to you. You are worth so much more than that. And you know what? I am. And I fought back. I fought back that morning. I really did. That was the first morning I've ever fought back. I even scratched him. And you know what the sucker did? He threatened to call the cops on me. I'm like, you know what? Go fucking ahead, right? Go ahead. All day, didn't talk to him, nothing. I did my grieving. I was with my family. It was absolutely fucking horrible. And at that moment, I decided that's enough. I'm all done. He's not touching me a fucking again. He's not touching me again. And he did not touch me again after that. That was the last time he put his hands on me because I fought back. These abusers don't think that you're going to fight back. And when you do, it takes them for a little bit of a loop, right? So they're like, whoa, what's going on? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It'll never happen again. Well, you're goddamn fucking straight. It's not going to happen again. Because that day, I decided I'm worth better than this. And I'm not letting this happen to me anymore. And did I leave him right off? No. I didn't. Because I knew with him, that type of person, that I had to set everything into play. I had to do things because he wasn't just going to leave. They never want to leave. Because they have no place to fucking go until they find somebody else, right? To abuse. That's what they do. They go from one to the next, to the next, to the next. So what I did is I started to help myself. I started to get better for myself. And I did a lot of things to get better before I decided to leave. This is where We Are Women's Fitness was awesome, and my strength, because I started that as a support group for women, a place for women to go where they feel safe, they feel empowered, and I was able to go to them for support. I had them to help me. I started a 12-step program with my church. I got a sponsor. I had somebody that I could talk to, somebody that went through what I went through and knew what I was going through, so she could help me better, right? And she was always there, always there. Her name was Janet, and she's freaking fantastic, and I love her. And she sat with me whenever I needed to, and it was fantastic. And then, with these women, they helped me because I wasn't thinking straight. I had nothing. I had no money. I had nothing, people. I had nothing but living in a big house with a lot of bills that he never paid. But I didn't care. I wanted to get out of that situation. And so I took the steps necessary to get out of that situation. I made my plans. The women, they helped me go to the police station. They implemented putting emergency alerts on my phone so that he couldn't tell, and if something happened, I could just touch the phone and it would call the police. Janet went with me to the women's domestic violence place. I got a Dove lawyer. There's all kinds of things out there and support to help you, but you have to do it. You have to make the change, because it's not gonna change. They're not gonna change. And let me tell you a little story before, and this story was even horrible too. They're all horrible, but this story is what made me be like, all right, it's time to take action. It's time to get him out of my house. This story was close to pretty much within weeks of me getting a restraining order on him. I remember putting clothes away or something in my bedroom, in my closet, and he started to fight with me. I don't even remember what the fight was. He always started fights so that he wouldn't have to hang out, or he could go in his garage. Or I wasn't doing something right, or whatever. There's just always something. There was not even any purpose or reasoning behind any of it, really. I don't even know. But anyways, I just remember him screaming at me, and I just been like, oh, not again, and I started, my nerves and everything, my stomach. No wonder I have fucking Crohn's disease, right? I'm always tense and tight, and because always walking on eggshells, making sure not to get in any fights or whatever. But anyways, he was yelling loud. I tried to get out of the closet. He wouldn't let me out of the closet. So all of a sudden I hear this little knock on the door, and it's Haley. Can somebody put me to sleep because I'm having a hard time sleeping? She stopped the abuse. she stopped what was going to happen. And she did it a lot. And we need to think of our children and how it affects them and how them seeing us like that, it's not good. What does that show them? You know, you got to think of your kids. You got to think of yourself, you know, and that moment when I felt her little heart beating so fast in her chest and being scared, I knew it had to be done. And it was a scary thing to do, people, because it was right before school. I didn't have any money. I was waiting for my disability to be approved or not approved. I couldn't work because I'd been so sick, in and out of the hospital, surgeries. It was just horrible, absolutely horrible time. And there's no good time to leave. Just saying, there is no good time. You just got to do it. You just got to hope for the best, and you got to do it. And there's resources out there that will help you. And, you know, it was right around first, you know, the first of the year, you know, whatever. I see now I'm all confused, and I said it's not going to be perfect, and I am not going to do this again over and over, but it's real. And it was around, you know, the first of September, whatever, when they start school, and, you know, everybody's going school shopping, this and that. And I'm very grateful that, you know, Mason and Olivia's dad and stepmom, they bought Haley school clothes for her. And Haley went to school that day, the first day of school, without a new backpack because I didn't have the money to buy the school supplies at the time. And, you know, my women here, a couple of them, Melanie and Gina, took me to the food pantry, and I was ashamed to go. I really didn't want to go. I thought that I was too good for it, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't have any money at the time. You know, I was waiting for my disability. And honestly, I believe that God was waiting for me to get that, so that way he was gone and couldn't take that money. And it's everything. There's always, when you start to help yourself, when you start to do things for you, and you start to believe, and you start to do things start to fall into place, and things start to work out, you know, like, so we went to the food pantry. I did not want to go. That fucking sucked, but they took me, and we went, and I was talking to her, and she had backpacks and school supplies. She had all of that stuff in there. She's like, you don't have a backpack? I'll get you a backpack. So I was able to give Haley a backpack, right? And she was super excited. Now, she was super bummed the first day of school, going to school with all her friends. Everybody's got a new backpack and stuff like that, but Haley. And she was sad. You know, I could see it on her face. She was bummed, but she says to me, I love her. It's okay. I understand. I don't like it, but I understand. And, you know, this was, 4 years ago? She was 8 or 9 at the time, maybe even younger. So she was younger, you know, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful that my children are the way they are and are, you know, understanding in the situation. But, you know, she got her backpack. Everything works out, you know. So she didn't have it the first day of school. She had it the second day of school, you know. Shit happens. Life could be worse, you know. It's just going to be better. And once all this stuff, once I started to change in myself, things started to get better for me. You know, a lot better. It didn't happen overnight, people. It's not going to happen overnight. And depending on who your abuser is or who you're with, you may not be able to leave. But if you can't leave right off, start to make a plan. Start to take action. Start to get healthy. I remember when I was in that, I was so unhealthy. I was lucky if I weighed 110 pounds. I was sick. I was barely eating. I didn't shower off. You know, like, I didn't take care of myself. I didn't feel good about myself. I was always in sweatpants. My hair's always up in a ponytail, but it was just like, I didn't take care of myself. So I didn't feel good about myself because I didn't feel good about myself because I was believing all the lies that he was saying, that I was useless and that I'm never going to find anybody again because I'm old and I'm sick and I'm damaged and I have 3 kids, and the things that he would put in my mind that I fucking believed. I believed these things, people. And so I just had no self-esteem. And then I started We Are Women's Fitness, and it just started coming back because I was taking care of myself. And that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to take care I want you to take care of yourself. Now, that's the most important thing right now is you. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and say, what can you do to change right now? What do you have the power to change right now? And that's you. You need to change you. I offer free classes on for YouTube. I got my live classes. You need to be physically strong. You need to start eating. You need to start fueling that body. You do. The stronger that you are, the stronger you can fight back. So take care of yourself. Start to taking care of yourself. Now, I have so many stories to tell you, and I have so many things to help you with, but right now, this is it. I've had enough of it, and I'm going to do it again on Friday. So I'm going to do it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Stopping domestic violence. I'm always going to have something, but the main focus is on healing and changing what you can change and getting better. No matter how shitty your situation is, you may have a story worse than mine. You may not have stories worse than mine, but you still need to get out. It doesn't matter how hurt or how whatever, like there's no comparison. It's all bad. Good or bad, bad. It's bad. Bad. Nobody should touch you. Nobody should call you names. Nobody should control you. You have the control for yourself. And if you don't have it, take it back. Take it back right now. And if you need my help, I want you to message me. I can help you. I help myself. I can help you. Look, my life is awesome right now. Once I got the negative out and focus on what's important, yeah, I did find another yuckiness. I did. Shame on me, but shame on him. Shame on him. Shame on him, because I'm fantastic. And at least with this, the ex-fiance, I saw the signs faster. Yes, I allowed myself into the situation. Yes. My fault. But it's not my fault for the abuse. It's his fault. It's his actions, and he shouldn't have done it. He shouldn't have. But with this time, I was stronger. I had more knowledge. I had more everything. And once I saw the signs and once I saw the abuse and started the abuse, I ended it. I ended it fast and quick. Because I knew I was worth more than what he was treating me like. And so are you. So have a great night. That's my story. I hope you can understand, and it's not too choppy, but it's real and it's me. Have a great night, and I will see you again on Friday.